It doesn't seem like Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth are taking this new controversy all that well. Trump and Hegseth just responded to the news story that broke last night that Pete Hegseth shared classified information in another Signal group chat, and they're pretty disgruntled. They're kind of all over the place. They can't land on one justification, and they're not even denying the story. So, as I mentioned, both Trump and Hegseth responded today at the Easter event, and Hegseth seemed to be taking it really poorly. He had this meltdown and attacked reporters in front of his children who are standing right behind him in a very public way. So before we look at what Donald Trump said, let's start with Pete Hegseth. We'll talk about it after. Let's dive right in.
Do you have anything you want to say, sir, about the Signal chat controversy?
You know, what a big surprise that a few leakers get fired and suddenly a bunch of hit pieces come out from the same media that peddled the Russia hoax. Won't give back their Pulitzers. They got Pulitzers for a bunch of lies. Pulitzers for a bunch of lies and on hoaxes, time and time and time again.
His first response to this controversy, to him sharing classified information with people who don't have security clearances, is attacking the media. It's the same old Trump playbook where something comes out that they did that's wrong. And instead of taking accountability, instead of saying, you know what, I messed up, and resigning as he should, he attacks the media saying they're doing this, they're doing that, they are perpetuating hoaxes and whatever. It is utter nonsense. Just continue.
And as they peddle those lies, no one ever calls them on it. See, this is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people and ruin their reputations. Not going to work with me, because we're changing the Defense Department, putting the Pentagon back in the hands of warfighters, and anonymous smears from disgruntled former employees on old news doesn't matter. So I'm happy to be here at the Easter egg roll with my dad and my kids, because, you know, this is what we're doing it for. These kids right here. This is why we're fighting the fake news media. This is why we're fighting slash and burn Democrats. This is why we're fighting hoaxsters. Hoaxsters. This group, no, this group right here, full of hoaxsters that peddle anonymous sources from leakers with axes to grind, and then you put it all together as if it's some news story. And when we know it, we know exactly what it is. So I'm really proud of what we're doing for the president, fighting hard across the board, and I'm going to go roll some Easter eggs with my kids. Thank you very much. Have spoken to the president, and we are going to continue fighting on the same page all the way.
Wow. And then he proceeds to run away from the media. That is one of the most outrageous things I've seen in American politics. You know, it just makes me think of the Biden administration, where we had Secretary Austin, a very experienced, distinguished Secretary of Defense, someone who knows what they're doing, was not sharing classified information in a Signal group chat. Then fast forward to now, and we have someone like Pete Hegseth, the lunatic that you see on your screen. When he does something bad, he attacks the media. He calls them a bunch of hoaxsters in the face of his children. I mean, let's just like look at some of the faces of his kids. As you can see on the right side of the screen, they look concerned. They look worried about the fact that their father is freaking out in front of them, having a meltdown at the media in front of them. I mean, it is so childish, and it is so embarrassing for the United States that this guy who has been caught sharing classified information a number of times is leading our military, is leading the DOD. I mean, what a lunatic, what a crash out in front of his children. So that's what Pete Hegseth said. Of course, saying that the reporting is false, that it's a bunch of liars and things like that. I do want to show you, before we look at what Donald Trump had to say about the situation, the New York Times actually put out a story responding to Pete Hegseth and the DOD, basically saying that the reporting is false. They put out a statement saying, "We're confident in the accuracy of our reporting, which revealed that the defense secretary shared sensitive information in a Signal chat that included his wife and brother, among others. The Pentagon has not denied the existence of the chat, and its assertion that there was no classified information shared in any chat is beside the point when it comes to our story, which did not characterize the information as classified. Now, I think a lot of people would argue, like Secretary Buttigieg argued, that the information is obviously classified, but of course there are different standards with the New York Times, but they are standing by their reporting. They are incredibly confident in it. So Pete Hegseth can go out there and go on these rants about how the media targets him and Donald Trump, the same old MAGA playbook, but the New York Times is standing by their reporting. They're incredibly confident in their reporting. Now, let's get into what Donald Trump had to say about the whole scandal. It's the same old, you can probably expect what Trump's about to say, but let's just take a look and we'll talk about it.
Well, I met two of them, and look, these are great gentlemen. They're great. If they weren't, they wouldn't be Pope.
President Trump, do you remain confident in Hegseth? Do you remain confident in Hegseth?
Oh, total.
President Trump.
Why do you even ask a question like that? We have recruitments that's at an all-time high. The spirit in the armed forces is fantastic. No, great confidence.
President Trump, for sure your message to
Secretary Hegseth using Signal to discuss those military plans.
Are you bringing up Signal again? I thought they gave that up 2 weeks ago.
There was a new report this weekend that he used it in a separate chat that included some family members.
It's all just the same old stuff from the media. That's an old one. Try finding something new.
Sir, your message to Catholics, sir, mourning the loss.
Yeah, so it appears that Donald Trump doesn't even know that this story exists. And it's contradictory because Pete Hegseth was saying that he talked to Donald Trump and that Trump has full confidence in Pete Hegseth, even surrounding this story, that Trump knows about it. Then Trump here now is saying, yeah, I have full confidence in Pete Hegseth. Why would you even ask that question? It appears that he has no connection between the new reporting and whether he would have confidence in Pete Hegseth or not. And then he says that, the Signalgate story is old. Like, why are you bringing it up? Why are you bringing up an old story? It seems like Donald Trump is not even in touch with what his own administration is doing. It seems like Donald Trump is not even aware of the scandals surrounding his own administration. He's just completely bubbled off from the realities that the American people are going through and the realities that his administration is going through. He has no idea that this story exists. And he's speaking about it. And he's speaking about it and supporting Pete Hegseth. So now he's on the record doubling down for his support for Pete Hegseth, saying, yeah, Pete shared classified information in a Signal group chat not once but twice, and I fully stand by him. He's doing a great job at the DOD. When everybody else at the Pentagon, the DOD is saying, yeah, this is chaos. One of the former top spokespeople at the Pentagon that recently resigned, huge Trump supporter as well, said the same thing, that Pete Hegseth should lose his job, that there's been dysfunction for months at the Pentagon. Things are not going well in the Trump administration. And Pete Hegseth is lashing out at the media in front of his family. And Donald Trump doesn't even know that this story exists. He's completely oblivious. And it's not a good characteristic to have in a president of the United States. You would want them to be aware of things like that. Donald Trump, not so much. But anyway, I just wanted to show you these reactions from Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump today. Not great. That's what I'll say. Not great. So I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes an incredibly long way. I really appreciate it. I also just launched a newsletter on Substack. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I'll be releasing a written piece. You can subscribe for free or become a paid subscriber in the link in the description below. That would really go a long way as well. But of course, leave a comment on this story. Let me know what you think about it. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.